Hello and welcome to the Nerditorium. It is a show by Geek Fruit about various things, this week being various things from last year, not unlike what we did last week. Not unlike with the same faces that we had last
2 weeks ago. We didn't have an episode last week.
I was on to something. They didn't need to know that. Hi, I'm Jishnu. This is Tejas. I'm assuming this is in the same spot that I'm seeing it.
No. You were right the first time.
Yeah.
This is Dinkar. Yes?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
This is Ruchi?
Yes. Also, everyone's names are there, so we really didn't have to do that. But yeah, Jishnu, go ahead.
No, I think I'm done now.
I think he's done enough. Hey, everybody, welcome to the Nerditorium live. It's Geek Fruit's weekly online show where we talk about stuff. And this week we're talking about various OTT shows. This is the only thing we could come up with in a hurry. And since we have all caught up on various things during the lockdown and or otherwise, we thought we'd share them with everybody today. So what have you guys been watching and what have you been really digging? That's what we're going to be doing today. Dinkar, how are you, man? What's up?
I'm fine. I wanted to ask, this distinction we make of OTT shows, does that preclude us from terrestrial TV, from like your regular cable operator
If
stuff?
there is a thick black cable in the form of like broadcast cable,
Not allowed.
Not allowed. No, we're cable cutters.
Okay, what have you watched that is not an OTT show? You have cut the cable. Is this true? Everyone here has cut the cable?
Yes, but what is not an OTT show could be like, say, a
film.
podcast, a film. Yes, there are other things we could, which form, which could be under the category of show, but that are not over the top.
So do we not call these TV anymore?
I don't know. I mean, it depends on really what you're
I think
watching
they're
it
TV.
on.
This is all TVs.
Yeah. I think it's like you could watch an OTT show on your phone, and I could have watched it on my iPad.
Your point stands, Dinkar. Well done. What the fuck are you watching?
Don't watch it on your phone. So there are some people out there who really will take issue with that.
Yeah.
Yes.
Martin
Ruchi has
if you're
been
watching.
an adamant theater person. She used to work in a multiplex,
did.
and so she's very adamant that you watch movies like.
I thought you meant because you worked in the movie theater, you'd seen people watching shows on their phone while watching a movie, and I would say like, well, that's not.
I wouldn't be
No,
surprised
you're
if
not
that's
supposed
happened.
But wouldn't that be great?
No, yeah, and you're supposed to go, me at the time, supposed to go and be like, hey, stop being on your phone. Excuse me, please.
Wait, I was kidding. Are you serious? People would go to a movie theater to watch something on their phone at the movie theater?
If they didn't, you could tell they'd pick like the corner seats, and if the person they were with that person was a lot more into the movie than they were. And they'd be like, even if
I
they were
don't
on their
think it's
phone,
that hard
texting,
to-
you weren't.
I mean, I get like dicking around on your phone and like texting or whatever, but like watching something else while you're
Yeah,
trying
with
to screen that you
earphones.
paid
Yeah,
money
because,
for.
like,
It's like, what?
Picture this, you're in the movie theater, you're not particularly following the movie, and then someone
Yeah.
on a WhatsApp group has sent you a YouTube video. You are going to watch that YouTube video. Then you end up watching a
Yeah,
bunch of other
people with
YouTube stuff.
earphones.
Really?
in.
Have
Yeah,
any of you
Wow.
done that? Have any of you done
No, I
that?
turn my phone off
No,
like a good little
obviously,
boy.
we wouldn't
Good.
do
We
that
chose well.
because-
Yes,
yeah.
good. Okay.
I don't turn my
But
phone
I
off.
can't, I
but-
can't see that being very uncommon. I'm sure.
Yeah, I'm sure
No,
it's
it's pretty
happened for
common.
sure. Yeah. Wow.
I remember to
It's
turn my
really
phone on
cool.
airplane mode more often in a movie theater than on an actual airplane.
Well, you should do it on an airplane as well, Jishnu.
Yeah, you really need to.
I mean,
I think that's fine.
Planes offer
It's
Wi-Fi
hazardous.
also, dude. You can just put it on airplane mode. It's okay. Anyway.
Anyway, what are we all watching over the top?
Okay, so obviously, last year Mando saved the day. We already talked about that. And we'll continue to talk about that. It's a thing. Don't ask.
Richie, have you made any
the
progress?
Other thing though,
I'm halfway.
Through
But I'm
Mandalorian?
watching it. Yeah.
of season 2.
Well
Of
done.
season two,
Okay, that's
yeah.
nice. That's great. Okay, cool. So we should be able to talk about it in its entirety soon.
We'll circle back as we always
No,
do.
but I just watched the previous episode.
Or that, yeah, we could.
Yeah.
We could just do that.
But yeah, the other thing that really got me excited, which was a release not long before that. I want to say it came out in like May or something. I only ended up seeing it towards the tail end of 2020. I want to say I saw it in December. And I binged the hell out of it in about 24, maybe 36 hours at most, was Ted Lasso. And
Nice.
It was just the right kind of non sequitur kind of comedic show with all the heart in the world that I needed. Because, I mean, technically it's a sports movie. So
it's a sports show.
It's a sports show, rather. A sports OTT show.
Yes.
To be fair. I wasn't particularly drawn to it when I heard about it. Like I just heard good things, but the premise of it seemed kind of fun, but nothing particularly special. I happened to watch it because Jason Sudeikis was on Bob Saget's podcast, and that made me very happy.
Nice.
And so I said, okay, fine, I'll do it.
Okay, so
just for you, Bob.
Tell me something, man. As I know that it's got to do with an American football coach NFL coach. Who goes to London, and what is he? Who is he in charge of? What team is he in charge of? Because I know like Mourinho's in the show, and I was just like, oh, okay, cool. This is like got some Spurs stuff in it, and I was just like, should I? I mean, of course I'm gonna watch it, but like I wanted to know.
I've seen the show. I had no idea that he was in it because I don't know these things, and it was still arguably one of the best shows I've seen in years. And, In years, it was. I really, really enjoyed it.
Nice.
It's half an hour, 10 episodes. I believe it's only been renewed for 2 more seasons. And as far as I'm aware, Sudeikis has been saying that he wants to make it no more than 3, and he's kind of going with that British series style of just kill it before it gets too big. And it's something he's been shipping for years now, and it's a very simple premise that isn't terribly profound. It's just got a very, very good light touch to it. Dinkar, I believe you've seen it too?
I have, yes.
Yeah.
To give some additional background information to the viewers, it actually came from a series of commercials that Jason Sudeikis did way back when they started broadcasting the Premier League on NBC in the US. Jason Sudeikis and the guy who plays the coach, his assistant coach, the two of them starred in a bunch of commercials, which were basically based on this idea that what if an American football guy went and started coaching a football team? So a lot of the pilot is actually like taken almost like line for line from those initial commercials. Then a couple of years ago, they decided to finally like give it a shot because it was always a popular character.
And, so who has the broadcast rights
for every season
for Premier League in the US? I'm just trying to connect some dots here.
NBC bought broadcast rights for the Premier League in the US, and they were like, how do we explain how any of this works? Also like
so NBC still has it? Because that's so interesting that Apple TV kind of went ahead with this thing when NBC could have just easily greenlit a show like this,
I believe, they could have, but I suppose you need some more, it's a niche topic at the end of the day. And I believe that's why Jason Sudeikis did try shipping this idea around until it eventually got picked up. Another thing that particularly interested me in the series was Will Lawrence is one of the creative minds behind it. Bill Lawrence, who's done like Sin City, he was mastermind behind Scrubs, and then later Cougar Town, both great shows. Cougar Town, particularly underrated, became a very good show towards the end of the time.
Abed's favorite show from Community.
Abed's favorite show.
I have seen a season. I don't know why, but I have seen a season of Cougar Town. Also, Zach Braff
it's a good show,
ended up directing
you have like,
an episode
you're
on Ted
skeptical
Lasso.
of everything until you start watching. You're skeptical of Ted Lasso, and now apparently it's your favorite show in years.
Yeah.
Give it a shot.
That means I can make a solid pitch for Cobra Kai and you guys will watch, right? Like,
no, that doesn't mean we will do it. That means you might be right, but that doesn't mean we'll do it.
My time. But yeah, I really enjoyed the show as well. I think the main thing, which I think is common to Bill Lawrence's work in particular, and it plays well with the character that Jason Sudeikis has played in, is there's just a general vibe of positivity throughout.
Yeah.
And that's really solid. So at no point, and this is a market shift from the origins of the character. Like in the commercials, he was kind of played up as this like clueless idiot, right? Like a bit arrogant, like, yeah, whatever, we'll figure out English football, how this works. And the joke is on the guy. And obviously that wouldn't play well for an entire season of TV. So they did a really good job by kind of making him like a simple person, but not like a simpleton. if that distinction makes sense. You're not laughing at the kind of stupid shit he's doing. You're just going like, well, yeah, he doesn't know football, but he's willing to admit it and he's figuring it out. And like even the darkest, the blackest characters on it all have like some pretty positive aspects to them.
Nice.
So yeah, really nicely done.
Cool.
Yep.
Ted Lasso. How many episodes are there?
10 episodes. And it's you don't need to know really anything about football. There's actually very, very little got to do with football, even though it's centered around a guy whose job is football. But it's about, you need to know as much about football as you do about American football when you watch, like, Remember the Titans. It's just like, they won. They didn't win. They almost won, but they didn't. And then they won eventually. Good for them.
Nice. Cool.
Spoiler alert.
No, that's fine. That's totally fine. Remember the Titans? I mean, there are some other spoilers which we won't get into. But...
spoiler for a sports, you won or you lost is not...
No. In Remember the Titans, there's one major spoiler.
Sure. That part where they forget the
I
Titans.
mean, did you remember? Okay. You can't make the same inverse joke. Anyway, it's a temporal pincer of a joke. Anyway, moving on.
What's that?
Ruchi, why don't you tell us what you have been watching? What have you been, at least in the last, say, 12 months? I know you've watched a lot of stuff, but what sticks out as arguably one of your favorites?
So I have watched a lot of stuff, and not a lot of it is great. Like Dinkar knows, I watched this show by Ryan Murphy called Hollywood, and I watched it just because like I'm a huge Ryan Murphy fan. I couldn't tell you the first thing about it, like at all, not even a little bit. Other than it's like revisionist history, but that's about it. What I did like, and which doesn't mean that it's good, but I'm sure you've heard of it because a lot of people watch it, is the show called The Undoing. Have you guys heard of it?
I've just seen the opening titles with Nicole Kidman singing.
But you have seen that.
Yeah, I just saw that.
That's the Hugh Grant one, right?
Yeah, exactly.
That's
which
right.
is why I feel like I have to talk about it because the show is, it's not a spoiler, it's really bad.
Oh, it's bad.
Is that fair? Yeah.
Oh,
Is that fair to say?
Okay.
It's bad. It's like a murder mystery usual, right? Like who done it, whatever. And it's like I think it's about 7 episodes. It's not more than 10. It's definitely less than 10.
Okay.
And yeah, so it's whatever. It's Nicole Kidman's Hugh Grant. And it's not good. Even for a whatever hokey sort of murder mystery by HBO, it's still like, you know who's done it from the beginning.
Okay.
But he's so good. He's like a menacing character, which is not to say that that's a spoiler. Just watch it. But he's insane. He's way better than that dumb show deserves. And you should watch that show.
Wait, who is the show by?
It's by the same guys who did the second season of Big Little Lies. I guess that's why that explains the quality of it. But whatever. It's not great. And I love like true crime and like whatever, very sexy, killing people. It's my actual like guilty pleasure, and it's trash, just straight out of the back. But he's having so much fun that I continually like tune in every single week. Like he's having a ball, and if you're a fan of him, just because like you should be, because we're like around the same age, he's great. And everybody was watching it just because of him. Everybody knows the show was trash, and like The Weeknd, Travis Scott, fucking all of the Kardashians. Everybody was watching that show knowing it was bad just because he's so good. So I would 100%.
I like your list of endorsees.
I was going to say, like, are they like live tweeting or something? Like, what is this?
They were. Yeah, they were just like, I have to know who the killer is. And I was just like, oh, really? You,
amazing.
Travis? Yeah.
Nice. Okay. I think Hugh Grant is definitely having a
villain zone in
a
it.
moment. Yeah, he's so good in The Gentleman.
I'm not gonna say
this movie
villain
as such.
zone because I don't want to
He's
like.
having fun playing with his image, let's say. And
Exactly. Yeah.
grittier characters.
It's so funny
He's
because
Zack Snydering it.
yeah, it's just because he's always played a good guy, and now when you watch him play like a slightly like anything apart from that really kind of bumbling English dude, it just comes across as like weird, and that's really good for the writers, I suppose. Like
The
you
other
can
great
always,
thing about that
yeah.
show is like everybody else on that show does my favorite kind of acting, bad acting, which is like I'm reading a line and this is how it is, and he's so good, and he's just like actually acting. So it's really funny, like to see him in a scene with a really bad actor.
Is
And
Nicole
he's
Kidman bad acting? That can't be
I was
right.
gonna
no,
say,
not her.
Nicole
Are there a
Kidman
bunch-
is capable, I'd just say.
Okay,
It's
so this is
it's
not
bad acting?
again.
It's
you're
possible.
Are there a
just,
bunch
like,
of new faces that we don't know that we don't like? Is that the deal?
yeah, like a ton of news faces. This is again, you're just like luring me into like spoiler territory. He doesn't have a lot of scenes with Nicole Kidman. Whatever, take
Okay.
that.
Sure. 'Cause
So,
she's
yeah,
dead
so he has
and he
a lot-
killed her. Yeah, I figured it out.
Obs.
She's not
Yeah.
dead. She's not the one who dies. She's
Yeah,
in
okay.
it.
Okay,
Whatever. Just watch the show.
all right.
This
Interesting.
feels like one of those. So this particular phenomenon, I think, is specific to the way we watch OTT shows now, which is I feel like the time has passed to watch The Undoing. You know, when like everyone's talking about it, like everyone you
Yeah.
know, like Travis Scott, The Kardashians, The Weeknd, they're all talking about it. And you're like, well, I better watch The Undoing. No one's talking about it as much now, and that urge to watch it has gone. So like a perfectly average or slightly above average show will kind of just catch a wave and get carried
Yes.
over the threshold of like. Well,
I feel
everyone's
like that's
watching.
gonna happen so much this year because there's such an insane slate of like films and TV shows that are just gonna be coming out like every single like week, at least on Netflix. And I know like Marvel has so many like has back-to-back shows till the end of the year. Like they have the moment WandaVision gets over, it's gonna
Yeah.
be Captain America. I mean like Winter Soldier and Falcon.
At most, there's like 2 weeks of dead air.
Then
but
there's,
that's
like,
But
the
those
Loki,
would
stretch.
be
then there's-
shows that you'd watch anyway.
Yeah,
as opposed to like I think something like The Undoing, just the fact that it, or like an even more like blatant example is something like The Tiger King or Indian Matchmaking
Yeah, I
or
was
whatever,
just
where
gonna say.
shows you wouldn't have watched, but
Yeah.
everyone you know, like Travis Scott and The Kardashians and The Weeknd, start talking about it, and you're like, well, I guess I better watch this now.
And
I
I
still
did.
haven't seen Tiger King, by the way. Like,
I saw
tried.
I saw all of like 2 episodes and I was like,
I actually finished it also in
I
48
haven't
hours,
You
very
did?
early in the
watched
lockdown.
either of those two shows, but then like I'm just a contrarian dick, so when everyone I know, like Travis Scott and the Kardashians and The Weeknd, start
Jesus.
talking about stuff, I'm like, I'm not watching that, Abel.
I will say to Tiger King's credit, it's a good what's the word called, the true crime type of show.
Is
Like, what's weird about it is the subject matter. Like just the circumstances are weird,
I
but
will
it's a
watch.
well-made narrative. Like,
I think
really
I would rather watch the
storytelling
Nicolas Cage
story.
adaptation
100%.
of the Tiger King when it does drop. If that makes
Did you
more
guys
sense.
watch The History of Swearing?
I did not.
I
I
didn't.
have not yet.
No.
Right.
I
Neither have I.
I started on
Great.
the I started on the what was it called? The Black Mirror guy made
Death
the
to 2020. Yeah, it's
Death to 20,
fine. It's
I
no
did like half of it.
it's
Yeah,
no
okay,
it's
cool.
no news wipe that Charlie Brooker does, you know, every
Yeah.
year, and which is so much better. But he does
like a
manage
photo
to
version
slip
of that.
in, you know, some of his, you know, recurring, you know, cast members like Philomena Kunk, who's there in Newswipe. I don't know if you guys have seen that, but that's like an amazing kind of review of
Yeah.
the year that he does. Death to 2020 is just like big budget. Here, take a bunch of actors who are some of them are good, some are okay. I think it's just
They're
like
fine,
Netflix thing to how do we create content in, you know, without making
are-
actors meet.
They're capturing that same, like they're trying to capture that same lightning in a bottle effect of like, let's get everyone talking, right? Which is a perfectly reasonable and viable strategy. But man, Death to 2020, the trailer had no good jokes in it.
Yeah,
That's
exactly.
Like, you can't
It's-
put
it's
in a couple
very-
of good
it's
jokes in the
very
trailer. This is not a
okay.
very good. This is not gonna be great.
Is Noah Centineo in it?
I don't
Because
think
it's
so.
Netflix.
No, he's not. Surprisingly, yeah, he's not.
Have-
But I
have
don't know
you guys seen
about.
that whole joke about how he's in every single
He's
Netflix
there,
property?
Radhika Apte, man. That's it. It will also pass. So,
Maybe
but yeah,
What have you been
I,
watching, Pete?
what have I been watching? I've been watching, you know, I'll watch a lot of mindless junk. There's Blown Away, the second season of the glass blowing competition reality
excited.
show is out now, and I've been catching up as quick as I can. I love that show. It's just like very easy watching. But the one show that I of course haven't shut up about in a while is Cobra Kai. I think that is that has managed to capture everyone's like imagination, at least on Twitter, for more than 1 week, I'd say. They did a very daring thing and dropped it on Jan 1st, and I finished it on Jan 2nd. So yeah, I just think it's amazing. If you're a Karate Kid fan, and if you like the whole have you guys seen any of it? Like, have you guys
No.
seen have you seen the
No.
Karate
Nope.
Kid?
Nope.
Yes.
So the Karate Kid, I mean, the whole
Karate
thing.
Kid, yeah.
There are 4 Karate Kid movies. So the first one, obviously, it's against the Cobra Kai. Second one is he goes to Okinawa. The third one, actually, I can't remember the third one as well. And he fights anyway another dude from Cobra Kai. And then the fourth one has Hilary Swank as the next Karate Kid, who Pat Morita's character, Mr. Miyagi, trains. And the main character, Daniel LaRusso, is not in it. So anyway, over the years, the years passed by, everybody kind of moved on. And then somebody made a YouTube video which went viral, which was about how Daniel LaRusso, the Karate Kid, is not actually the hero of the movie The Karate Kid. And they made this entire theory about why this guy is actually an asshole and he won't leave good enough alone. And if you watch the movie again, you can start to see that, he's just a kid who does dumb things and somehow he's vindicated for it. And that coupled with an episode on How I Met Your Mother where Neil Patrick Harris's character, Barney Stinson, is a huge fan of the Karate Kid and he wants for his bachelor party to meet the Karate Kid. And so they bring this guy, Daniel LaRusso, the actor, Ralph Macchio, and he's like, this is not the Karate Kid. I want the real Karate Kid. I want William Zabka, Billy Zabka, who plays, what do you call it? The other character, the villain, basically the villain of Cobra Kai. And they kind of meet up in that episode. And I think these two things coupled together, kind of like how Ted Lasso just was born out of the internet. This show kind of just found life on YouTube. They finished 2 seasons and then Netflix picked it up. And so like Gilmore Girls and like other shows that have kind of found life, a second life again on Netflix, it just kind of became a huge thing. Everyone was talking about it. And then they announced that they're dropping season 3, which came out on the 1st of Jan, and it exploded. So it's amazing. The whole show basically is like a justification for Billy Zabka's character and like why he is actually the hero. And it's a really cool redemption arc. The whole show is basically redemption. And the whole show, you're just thinking, man, I just want these guys to be friends, man. Like, that's it. That's the whole show. Because they're always like, oh, man, I'm going to get you. And they're like, yeah, I'm going to get you. But they're just taking their time with it. And it's a karate soap opera, man. So it's amazing.
All I want to know
Yeah.
is, does Jaden Smith come in this show?
They have, so the writers who are huge
Is it
fans,
retconned?
they call it the Miyagi-verse. So they have not ruled out anything, Jishnu. I will say this. Okay, this is not... I can't... Okay, so basically characters from all 3 of the movies have returned on this show. So the only one that they want...
Movies.
Yeah, exactly. So everyone is like, oh, is Hilary Swank going to be on this show? We don't know. Because the next season is already... Before this season came out, it was already greenlit. So the next season, we never know. We never know. Maybe Jaden Smith as well. And here's why it's a possibility. Will Smith is an executive producer of the show. So...
Nepotism.
Yeah, he's an icon living. Anyway, point is, it's a great show.
All right.
He doesn't look ready enough to be in a Karate Kid show right now, though. He might have to-
Dude, Ralph Macchio is like 60 years old, and they make him do like amazing like karate. Okay, so it's all.
Is he actually 60? No way.
Dude, he's 60. It's crazy, man. Billy Zabka is
Wow.
56 years old. He looks older than him, man. It's nuts. Anyway,
That's insane.
I highly recommend it because it's very bingeable. Every episode is like 20 minutes or 30 minutes, and it just like that. It just goes by, and it's full 80s love and nostalgia and definitely worth watching if you like the original movies. So,
But this idea of like taking those characters and kind of reinterpreting them or giving them additional layers to make it work as a series, I think there's value in that. That's essentially what Ted
Absolutely.
Lasso also did, right? It's not like it's a little more elevated than just like, hey,
Correct.
people like that one little thing, let's do that again.
yeah, exactly.
Taking it and went like, wait, how can we make this actually
Yeah, how can we dig
more
deeper on
interesting
it?
and make sense?
No,
Yeah.
and it's
To that
great.
end,
Yeah.
okay, let me ask the question for what we just saw in I think the first trailer just like this past week for the new Mighty Ducks, which is now a TV show.
Wait,
I thought
what?
it was going to be...
One
I thought it was
second,
gonna be-
the trailer's
Am I
out?
breaking news for you? The trailer's out?
No, I've not seen
haven't
it.
seen
I
it.
need to watch this. Yo, listen.
Oh my goodness.
Yo. I was not ready for this. Also, one second. In the comments, somebody
Should
saying,
we give you like 60 seconds? It's
yeah,
not that
give me.
long.
Oh, it says, hey guys. Shravan says, hey guys, shout out to Cobra Kai. Perfect balance of nostalgia and the new characters. You're right, Shravan. And that's all I want to say. Okay, wait. I have not seen this trailer. I need to watch it right now. Please continue talking, Jishnu.
So, how's everybody? Mom, dad, all good? Everything fine?
No,
That
one
was
second.
about the mighty
No,
ducks
wait.
earlier.
Since we're talking about Jishnu, how can
Yeah.
I thought you talked
I just want to know.
about some
Emilio Estevez is back. The trailer is there. Oh my god, how did I miss
But
this?
you did say you
Why
liked
stop
another
asking
show.
questions?
You did say you liked another show way more
I did.
last time we spoke, and you have to talk about it. I can't let you not talk about it since
Okay,
you had
great.
a lot to say about it.
Fuck the Mighty Ducks. Let's talk about the fabulous lives of Bollywood housewives. Bollywood wives? Housewives?
Wives,
Wives,
just wives.
Come on,
Wives.
Jishnu.
Yeah, they're not housewives. They're not. They're the worst.
Jishnu,
housewives.
before did
So
you
the-
did you
Are
watch?
Are the real
Did you
real
watch
housewives
Indian
any
matchmaking before this? Sorry.
I tried
Yeah.
watching Indian match. Ruchi and I had a very long discussion about. Wait, was it talking to you about why I hate Indian matchmaking?
Yeah,
Like
I think
the
No,
concept or
I
the
think
show?
I think I spoke to the. I don't even know who. I've had this conversation a lot.
yeah, I mean, people get Dinka and me mixed up all the time. It's
I couldn't stomach
Yeah.
Indian matchmaking. I could stomach Fabulous Lives because Indian matchmaking.
How?
Hit
It
a lot
feels like
harder
Indian matchmaking would be an
because
easier watch.
I have lived for a couple of years in the States, and that show is clearly made for that audience, and it's too real. Like in that, like I know people that would be like that or go through that kind of a thing, and like I don't know. Like and the other thing was that from the Indian side of the thing, genuinely the very first episode, the first time halfway through when they start introducing the Indian characters, the Indian families, after they've introduced the American families, they cut to hard cut Mumbai. The opening shot, which has like a big fat Mumbai across the screen, was on my road. Like I shit you not, it was literally my street. I was like, this is too much. I can't do this.
too
I can't do
close.
this. So it's too close to home. So that's honestly it. It's far more.
But isn't Real
personal
Housewives
reasons than
also shot
actually-
in Bombay?
Real Housewives is the exact same
It's
thing.
not Real
It's just that
Housewives.
it's different.
I am a Real Housewife.
Franchise and like an entirely different thing. Yes, this is
Look,
Yeah.
I can put it like this also. In Housewives, Fabulous Lives, whatever the tits it is,
Fabulous Lives, yeah.
they very blatantly call out to Kim Kardashian and the Real Housewives, which in some episode, genuinely, here's the premise of one episode. It's the climax of the episode, in fact, if I'm not mistaken. They're in Doha
It's really serious.
on top of a skyscraper
Yeah.
on a helipad with just 3 couches on said helipad. Enter Karan Johar in slow-mo wearing a suit and sunglasses. They sit down on the couch and they have their coffee with Karan moment on a helipad in the sky. With
That's
these
like next to
epic,
Dinka's house, dude.
It's
my road.
larger than life, and all they're asking about is, so girls, what would you say to people that want to watch this show but ask, why the fuck would I watch a bunch of wives just being dumb and rich? And they're like, well, that's because that's what we are, and fuck them, basically.
Yeah, no, and they get really deep about it. They're just like, we have problems too. We're really. So again, I told you, like, my mom was watching it, all right? And Jishnu was just like, how come you haven't seen, like, no hi or hello. Jishnu was like, how come you aren't watching Fabulous Lives of Bollywood Wives? And I'm just like, just because I don't know any of them, right? Right. When they introduce, all right, this is my husband, I'm like, all right, I know who these people are, but not the actual wives. So my mom, a huge reality TV stan, but then she would watch like architectural shows and stuff like that. Like she was just watching something right now. I can't recall the name. She loves Nailed It. Like she loves all these like competition.
Yeah, those are great,
But then
man.
for some fucking reason, she was watching. She was watching Fabulous Life, and she was really into it. She was just like, I've been waiting for it. And then
Wait, so was she on team? Was she on team?
She wasn't on any team. She was on her own team.
Was she team Botox or team Reiki? Because that is the point of contention, guys. Would you rather have Botox done on your face to make yourself younger if you're an 80s Bollywood starlet trying to get back into your career and you want to be like glamorous and sexy again? Or would you go for Reiki and have somebody just touch your face long enough until it just naturally just tightens? Which would you?
I don't think that's real. Right? I don't think Reiki is as effective. Yeah.
One is chemicals. Let's just put it that way. And fair enough.
I mean, one is science. and is more effective and can.
And then the other one is Botox. So listen,
No.
I'll just say that the real, I think, like for me, it just feels like this is the
Wait, just answer the question.
spiritual sequel of Indian matchmaking, and allow me to present to you the trilogy ender, The Big Day, which releases on Valentine's Day. This this month, I suppose. Yeah, Valentine's Day is only in 1 month. And it's about the most expensive and obnoxious weddings that take place in India, and about how people kind of have these extravagant things, and it looks very much in the space of that. And I can't say too many bad things.
TV?
Yes, it is. Yeah, I can't say too many bad things about it because a song of ours that Jishnu. Some songs we've worked on is featuring on that show. So this is a small plug, but also what I feel is going to be
Took me a second.
a very, very interesting watch.
Oh my god! But hey, hang on. Does the Big Day have episode 1 big name cameo featuring none other than Jet Li?
What?
What?
If somebody told me if Jet Li was going to be on the show,
I gotta give you the premise. Episode 1, they're taking their daughter to the debutante ball in Paris. It's called La Ball.
Seen that
it's the
episode.
fanciest
Who's
thing
the
in the
daughter?
world. I don't know these things.
wait, who's the wife? Who's
one of the
famous?
Kapoors. One of the Kapoors.
Kapoor.
I
So
believe
full
Mahip.
disclosure, I and Jishnu knows this. I
Mahip
haven't
and
seen
Sanjay's
the
daughter?
entire season.
Yes, Mahip and Sanjay's daughter. What was her name?
Right.
Shania?
I haven't seen the entire season. I did
Naya
tell you
Kapoor?
this.
Okay, look, point
This
is,
is episode
one
one,
of-
Vijay.
listen, the
I
girl
didn't watch it.
goes
I
to the
jumped
ball.
in at like 4.
This is very important. Pay attention, everybody. This is very important.
Alright, cool.
They go to the
Sorry.
ball. The first episode is practice for the ball. They're rehearsing. They're very scared because she feels very confident about herself. But then all the girls get paired up with a big, tall, strong model, and they're like, "Who's this handsome French dude? We don't know who this guy Maximilian. Who the hell is this guy? They don't know. So can they trust him?" So obviously, her dad is very like, "Hey, keep away from my daughter." And there's like a bit of like contention in the room, and it's big, like it's a giant royal banquet hall. So it's like filled with like fancy paintings and dead people and stuff like that, and a lot of cameras and stuff. But then hard cut because enter Jet Li, and of course now Sanjay Kapoor's like, "Well,
Wait, what?
forget my daughter for a second. I gotta go schmooze this guy." And he blatantly is just like, "Hey, so I'm a big fan of yours, and just thinking, maybe one day, maybe I can be in your movies, or maybe my daughter can." To which Jet Li's like, "No," because
Wait, you never mentioned this. In
it's
your
the episode 1. I
20,000
swear you saw it. It's the first episode.
I feel
It's
like
the end
they
of
could
the
have
very
got a
first
lot more
episode.
people watching this show if they just had a promo with Jet
No,
Li.
but I
in it.
told you, right? I told you
I
that.
don't
Just
think
like,
so. I don't think the target audience for this show
No,
cares
no.
that much about Jet Li.
I don't know what target audience Jishnu
I
fits in.
struggled to think of 3 Jet Li movies. I got so excited.
Oh, I
saw
tell
it.
you, okay? Forbidden
The
Kingdom.
one.
The one. Romeo Must Die with Alia. God bless her
Must
soul.
die.
Come on. With DMX. I think, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, anyway.
wait, the last
I saw-
bit about
Oh.
Fabulous
Go on.
Wives of Bollywood. Wow.
The Bollywood wives of fabulous... sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, something. There's a point where they all meet up and they're like, all right, we all have to have dinner with our husbands. And one of these guys Jishnu knows what I'm talking, is like, he's not into it. And they have this conversation before this dinner where the wife is like, you have to come. Everyone keeps teasing me about the fact that you never come out with me and my friends and their husbands. And he's just like, yeah, but I don't like it. And then they take him there and he jets off in like 10 minutes. And he says that he has some, what does he say, Jishnu?
I have
He
a
has, like,
rehearsal.
some-
I have a
like,
rehearsal at
11 in
11:30
the
p.m.
Who
for
is this?
tomorrow's
I'm not
Neelam's husband. I know that, right? Am I right? I think I'm right. Does that mean anything to you, then, Kar? Are you?
Who's Neelam's husband?
Yeah,
Meet
exactly.
Tony?
I don't know. The one on the
Look it up.
left. That's how I know them.
Why are you watching Fabulous Lives if you don't know who the famous people that the show is
You-
based on are?
You
I mean,
don't
are they
need to
really
know
that
anything.
famous?
You really don't need to know.
It is Sameer Soni. Neelam's husband is Sameer Soni.
The-
Also an actor.
Yeah.
If you watch the opening 30 seconds, the entire the entire opening of the show pre intro title sequence is 30 seconds of being given the family tree as to who the hell these people are. They're basically
Can
third
be
cousins
kinda
and fourth
complicated.
cousins of somebody somewhat kind of famous. So
Yeah, it sounds like
I don't feel bad for not
TV
knowing
shows.
them because it's just like they seem like fourth tier famous. You know what I mean?
But like Shah Rukh Khan is in the finale though. Is that
Wait,
a
Is
what?
it finale?
Was like
Yo,
Yeah.
Shah Rukh
spoilers,
Khan is in it, I believe,
spoilerific.
because sorry. Yeah, are we spoiling the Shah Rukh
God
Khan?
damn it! Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
This is the
He shows up and he's
this is
really
the
nice.
Skywalker moment of this fucking show, dude.
I will say I am endlessly fascinated and very interested in all of the subject matter here. I enjoy a lot of stories about Bollywood in general because I think it is a fascinating world that we don't know enough about. Because unlike Hollywood, where Ryan Murphy will jet and make an entire series about it, or like an alternate version of it, or say Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, there's a lot more material there. It's been explored a lot more. Bollywood is just as fascinating, and there's not enough about it out
This
there.
show's
I
for
think.
you,
Like, a lot of
Dinkar.
stuff
There is
happens
one
behind
mildly poignant
It's
moment.
not. You know why?
There's one mildly poignant moment where Sanjay Kapoor actually says he has a little breakdown, emotional breakdown at the bar with his wife, and he goes, "Man, I've been bullied my whole life for nepotism. People think that I'm a piece of shit." And then what happened the previous episode before? He introduces his daughter at La Ball in front of genuine royalty and Jet Li, and they get introduced as the Kapoor dynasty. And I was like, you're complaining about nepotism being put down, and you just introduce your wife as you just introduce your daughter as a member of the dynasty, and you're saying people are getting you slack for. I was like, what?
Let's call it what it is, man. But
It is fascinating. If the same subject matter, like these same people, if it was a documentary or like a docu-series rather than a reality show package format, I think I'd find it a lot more interesting. This seems like it seems more like marketing for these
then may I
four
suggest
wives
you the
than
inner
rather
and
than-
outer world of Shah Rukh Khan VCD double feature that came out in 2006. Did you ever see that, by the way?
Sounds good.
Did you ever see that?
No.
I don't think I've
The
seen
inner
and
slash outer world
Shah Rukh
of SRK? Did you? That was such a huge thing.
Hey,
No.
okay.
Oh, it was
Hang
a
on.
huge deal. It was kind of like David Letterman's My Next
I was
Guest
gonna
with
say
him.
that thing that also came out in 2020, didn't it? SRK's
No,
episode.
I want to say 2019.
Last
2019,
2019, I feel
A long
like.
time
Was it
ago.
19?
Yeah, it
Oh,
was.
geez. Okay.
But you know what? That treatment as well, I don't know if I bought into it.
I didn't.
I
You know,
don't think
either.
so. I think because
Yeah.
it was very outsider perspective.
Perhaps,
It was more
yeah.
about like look at his stardom, as opposed to
Yeah.
like literally Shah Rukh Khan is a fascinating guy, man.
Absolutely.
Without
like,
question.
All the biographies, Anupama Chopra's book about him, freaking amazing. Still reading Khan.
Yes. Highly recommend Inner slash Outer World of Shah Rukh Khan.
I cannot believe I have not seen it, and I shall immediately.
It's a
But
VCD.
Is that the one that he was pushing back in the day? It was like his.
Yeah. It was a very personal kind of look at his life, or at least at the time, that's what it seemed like. Man, the thing is that there's no real way of knowing what is true. They live, like you said, such like vastly different kind of lives from us that it's hard to understand what their vision of reality is and like how they want to portray it within the form of a documentary or any kind of series like this. It just becomes like we're just watching another version
Like
of them.
a sanitized version.
Yeah, exactly. So you don't really know, what it's like. But for those reasons itself, it makes it very,
There's a
very
hack.
interesting. Yeah.
This is fascinating. But if you go and look at news clips actually from the early 90s to say like the early 2000s, there's a very like slightly more unvarnished version of actors of like Bollywood in general that you get to see, because I think it was like a less guarded time.
Yeah.
It's
No social
all
media.
up on YouTube in like NDTV. Like there's this clip I was watching the other day of this issue that happened, I think in the mid to late 90s, where one critic trashed the movie of I forget, some director, and that director went and slapped the journalist.
Yes, I remember that. I do remember that. I think it was David
Right.
Dhawan, if I'm not mistaken.
Might have been David Dhawan. I don't want to get sued for slander, but could
You
have
don't want to
been
get slapped by David Dhawan. Just let's.
I don't want to get slapped by David Dhawan or his son. Who
Or
looks
you
like
do.
Beefy.
Adil Karwa, sorry, just interrupts. I just want to interrupt to say, Adil Karwa says, "Good evening. Would have watched for Jet Li for sure."
Good evening. Would
And-
have watched for Jet Li.
Good
definitely.
evening.
And Shravan says, Jet Li in The Mummy, Tomb of the Dragon Emperor. Just know that's another movie that he was in.
Oh yes.
Which mummy is that? Is that
That's
three?
that's three. Yes, that's three. Not
Wasn't
including
three Scorpion?
No,
Scorpion King
that's
was
a
two?
that's a
The
that's
Monk
a
3, yes.
that Scorpion King is a spin-off, so we don't count it. But
So it's three after Scorpion King?
Yes. Jet Li,
Right?
yes, in The Mummy, The
3
Tomb of the
came
Dragon.
after.
And then they introduced the Dark Universe with Tom Cruise and such and such. And
But they never made that, did they?
they made it, and then they unmade it. They unmade the Dark Universe. So yes.
They destroyed it.
Yes, fun fact, Russell Crowe plays a vampire in that.
Yeah. Doesn't he play
That's not
Plays
that fun.
Dracula.
It's expected.
Dracula? Yeah.
Yes. Vlad. Anyway, all right. So sorry, Dinkar. What else have you been watching, man?
I wanted to talk about another Apple TV series called Dickinson. I find it very entertaining. It's kind of like it's about the poet Emily Dickinson, and it's based on her actual work and loosely based on her actual life. So the characters are all real, but they do this they do this thing where all the characters, for the most part, all the kids talk in contemporary language, and the parents all speak in like your classic
Victorian English
version of Victorian English. Yeah, though they're Americans. So I'm trying to think of what the term would be. But anyway, they're speaking old timey, and the kids all are like,
New times.
"Yo, what the fuck is going on with you?" That kind of vibe. Very interesting. It's not perfect. It's like a lot of it is very like CW teen drama, which is also not a bad thing. But sometimes it just like pops up at random. A lot of the episodes are based on actual poems of hers. So like an incident will happen, and at the end you have this like scene where she like has a burst of inspiration and starts writing, and the words appear in fiery letters as she does it.
Oh.
Those parts are cheesy.
Yeah,
But,
that sounds terrible.
It really is terrible. They do less of it in the second season, which is currently running. The first season was last year. But overall, it's a very good show because it takes the aspects that you'd expect from like an angsty teen drama, but treats them with like a very, like simultaneously like a sort of more nuanced or serious look, because that's not like, well, everything sucks because we're a teenager type, but also it's very funny.
Nice.
And so I highly...
Any
it's like a comedy?
familiar names and faces?
James
Yeah, you
Bukowski
should
plays Dickinson's mom. Haley Steinfeld plays Dickinson herself. Toby Hess
the Starving
plays,
Girl.
her dad. Who?
Starving. That's her song, right? She's a Bumblebee Transformer.
She is a Bumblebee.
She's a
Transformer
Hawkeye.
guy.
She's what's it? The new Hawkeye.
She's in...
Kate
Kate
Bishop.
Bishop.
Yeah.
Correct. Yeah, she's all of those things.
Nice.
She
And
had
John
a successful
Mulaney's
sitcom
in it,
back
no?
the day. John Mulaney appears. Yeah, there are a bunch of those great guest appearances. Actually, I completely forgot to mention that. John Mulaney pops up as Henry David Thoreau, playing him as like a egotistical dick, which is perfect. All perfect. Also, John Mulaney is like shirtless for like 90% of it. That's part of the joke.
Amazing. And he didn't have to change his accent also to be on the show, I'm sure.
He did not. He did the classic mid-Atlantic accent.
I think him and Bill Burr have the same contract now. Like you can't touch that. Like if you get me, you get all of me. Like non-negotiable.
Yeah. There's another Apple TV show. Jishnu, did you watch Long Way Up? Did you watch?
I have not seen that yet. I need to see it.
So Abhimanyu and I have just finished it. It's obviously the third and final, travelogue series by Ewan McGregor and Charlie Borman, who have done extensive like trips across the globe. They've literally they've done like around the world in 80 days, except they did it in less than, I think.
Sick. It didn't take like a couple of months.
So their first show, which was in early 2000s, was A Long Way Round. Then they did, which was from London to New York, but the long way round. And then they did Long Way Up, which was from like the Cape of Good Hope.
Long Way Down.
Long Way Down. Sorry, yes. From London again to South Africa.
Scotland, somewhere in Scotland
to South Africa, and then this one they do from the tip of South America, I think in Argentina, all the way to Los Angeles. And this one is kind of extra special because it's them reflecting on their lives and the previous two shows, and also that they're older and they know that this is the last time they're probably going to do something like this. And the interesting thing about this, apart from the fact that it's because it's Apple TV and it's been so many years, the quality of the footage is unbelievably, like, it's immaculately shot. And the other two interesting things about it is that one is that they do the entire trip this time on electric vehicles, so everyone is on an electric they're Charlie and Ewan are on electric Harley Davidsons, which are not even in production. They're just prototypes, and just the shenanigans of having to charge the thing every night, and it doesn't go right all the time. Like pretty much all the time, they have some issues with it. That's one of the cool things about it. And the second cool thing is that because it's been so many years since Star Wars, and Ewan McGregor's fame has increased exponentially, the Star Wars references in it are fantastic. Like there's a one episode where they reach like Machu Picchu, and he's trying to like climb all the way to the top, and he just cannot go like forward even like an inch, because literally like there are hundreds of people who go like, Obi-Wan is here and like let's just like take photograph, and he obliges literally everyone. It's quite an amazing, like it's an amazing show. And I won't. Actually, no, this is fine. It's not really there's no spoilers or whatever. But in Long Way Round, I don't know if you guys haven't seen that. In that there's a interesting moment where they reach an orphanage, and in that orphanage, like it's like a very like tough decision for both of them whether they go the easy route or the hard route, and they take the hard one. They reach an orphanage, and Ewan McGregor meets like these kids, and he sees this one kid, and he remembers her, and like later on after the show he goes back to that place and he adopted her as a kid. And in this show he meets her along the way, so you kind of like have this thread from the first show, which was like many years ago, and she's like a baby in that, and now she's like this adult person who just hangs out with her cool dad, who's just like taking a trip across the world. So it's a really like heartwarming, amazing show. Last really good reason to watch it, as per usual, banging soundtrack, which is available.
Say, how much stereophonics is on it?
There's plenty stereophonics. And the whole thing about
that show introduced me to stereophonics.
Yeah, exactly. And once again, they have just changed Long Way Round to like Long Way Up. That's it. And but yeah, plenty of stereophonics. Really good soundtrack, which is obviously only available on Apple Music. And for some reason, if you're using Apple Music in India, the title card, like the album artwork, has Long Way Up written in Devanagari script. I don't know why. It just is. But it's got like 800 tracks, really good on shuffle. Enjoy.
800 tracks?
It's got like close to like at least like 300 or 400 tracks. Like it's that extensive. And
this is
how many episodes is it?
Yeah, exactly.
It's
12, a half an hour show, isn't it?
It's 11 episodes. No, it's an hour long. Every episode is like 50 minutes. And it's really like it's dense as hell.
It's a long journey, so
yeah, it's wonderful. It's honestly one of the best.
So the first one came out, I want to say in like 2004-ish, 4 or 5, something like that.
Yeah.
And at the time, a big part of the gimmick was also like, I mean, yeah, it's the two of them, but it's two of them and the camera guy. Who, definitely. So I wanted to know. You said it's beautiful to look at. I'm sure it is, especially because it's an Apple TV thing, and it's one of the newest ones from there. Yeah. So my question is it just as like rough and tumble handheld? Because at the time it was like, hey, the GoPro's just been invented. Look at all this amazing GoPro footage, which was, to be fair, very impressive at the time. So is it now like super slick and trying to be like David Attenborough meets a travel documentary? Or is it as shaky and just just 4K?
There's no shaky anymore because they have like really nice gimbal kind of stuff. But I will say this, that a majority of the show is, I mean, it's the exact same team from the first show, like from the first series. It's that they've all just grown up. They're all like looking old and stuff. It's great. It's the same guys. So it's quite awesome. So the footage is like the stuff which is on the drones and all of that is really great. But both Charlie and Ewan McGregor have like these kind of those Moby kind of things, like I can't remember what are they called, the DJI, the Osmo kind of thing, and they're using that a lot. So a lot of the footage is just them like looking into like, it's like them recording on a phone or like a video call kind of.
Yeah.
So and because a lot of the time in the show they have to go separate ways. Like the car, even the cars are electric cars, and they're like again prototypes. So there's a lot of shit that happens that they can't follow them all the time. But yeah, it's really well made, and it's fantastic, and it's a must watch if you're into that. And it's really like cool, man. The places they go is like really awesome.
I absolutely love those shows. They don't get talked about enough, which is why I just forgotten about them. But every time I remember it, it was such a good time. So I'm definitely gonna watch that before I watch Cobra
So
Kai.
Apple TV basically
Maybe I'll watch
is
Cobra Kai before
is
the next
Apple
season
TV
comes out.
Plus kind of
You'll watch it
killing it.
maybe tomorrow. I think they've done a good job of making shows that they know that audience would watch. Let's put it that way. They are doing well in some aspects, but I mean, like everyone's doing fine. Apple TV is doing surprisingly well, I will say. Some of the bigger bets like Morning Show didn't pay off, but Dickinson is a bit of a sleeper hit.
Yeah.
And Ted Lasso is a bit of a sleeper hit. So I suppose overall it's working. When you can throw money at a bunch of good people, good stuff.
No, I don't know. I don't know if that's true. People throw money at people all the time. And
give us one OTT platform other than Quibi that has not managed to pull off a good show.
Oh no, that way, yeah, sure. The odds are high, right? Like if you throw, it's a large gamble. Yeah, you throw.
What has
money
Sony Live done?
They did Scam 1992, which is well received. And
how long has Sony Live been around? Because it wasn't relevant to me until I moved in with our friend Al, and he watches
football on it.
The sports. Yeah. I was like, oh right, Sony Live. That's like,
that's why I have Sony Live.
Exactly.
It's one of the older ones because Hotstar and Sony Live both were earlier streaming services.
They double down on the sports. Yes, you're right. But I will say this: Sony Live is also the only streaming, and why it's blessed for me. They have all 12 series of Agatha Christie's Hercule Poirot, which is on it, and literally everything is on it, and it's amazing. Like
they have a bunch of good
HD remaster. Please watch.
Community also only available on Sony Live.
That is correct.
Good shows. All good shows.
All great shows. And Community has been through a bunch of places. It was on, what was it on first? It was on NBC, then it went to Yahoo. Yahoo!
Yeah, the last season was on, the service was called Yahoo Screen. It was surreal back in those days.
Was so
and
surreal.
I would literally watch it week to week.
Yeah, same.
And it became this challenge of figuring out how to watch Yahoo Screen in India.
Yeah. No, just rip that.
Back in the halcyon days of like 2012 or whatever it was.
Yeah. Okay, cool. So we're watching some stuff. It's good. That was a good session of interesting shows. Any other random shows that you've been like catching up? You want to just throw in notable mentions? Do you guys have a Jishnu?
I have been trying to find full episodes of some of AXN's greatest hits, such as Who Dares Wins
Who
Dares Wins India. If anybody out there on the internet can tell me where to find these.
It's called Jo Jeeta Wohi Sikandar in India.
I was just randomly somehow for some reason our boy Mike Whitney popped up in my head one day, and I was like, what happened to that man? Do we remember Mike Whitney?
We don't. Is he from
the curly head man?
I don't think
curly head man opposite Tanya Zaida from Who Dares Wins. No, come on, guys.
Only you watched Who Dares Wins.
Yeah.
Who Dares watch?
Listen, if you want a Fear Factor boy, you are a Who Dares Wins boy, and all I want to know is where I can find some Who Dares Wins, because I just want to see, people in the 90s doing stupid shit for money.
Have you checked Sony Live?
I should check Sony Live.
It might well be on there. I'm sure there's some kind of like AXN Sony tie-up. But Random Rex, another show I wanted to talk about that we didn't get around to, Harley Quinn, man. Everyone should watch
So
that.
good.
It might
Love
be the
that
best
show.
thing DC's done in years.
I agree.
And I'm including March 2021 in that. It is legit incredibly good. Very funny.
It has no reason to be that good. You're right.
It has no reason to be that good. But
what's March 2021?
It's a mistake.
Yeah, I mean,
in a
whatever.
year.
In case DC is doing anything in March 2021, I'm sure Harley Quinn is better than that.
I don't know if they are.
Yeah. Not really sure myself.
Yeah. So
you know
okay.
why the Justice League Snyder cut is in black and white though, right? Like that trailer, they took all the colors and gave them to Harley Quinn. So that show is like pretty colorful in a great way.
Even the language is quite colorful for sure.
Language is.
Hey, hang on. I got a goodie. Very, very random. But speaking of AXN and what AXN mainly have been doing lately, no, I take that back. AXN have not been doing this. I was going to segue into wrestling.
You can't
this
bring
is
up
not
AXN
no,
and then 30 seconds later go like, hey, speaking of AXN, as if it came up in conversation. You said AXN.
I spoke of it. So now I'm speaking of another thing that's not related to AXN. I take that back.
Okay.
The worldwide wrestling...
Federation.
The World Wrestling...
Entertainment, sorry.
It's not. There's no the then, is it? It was the Wrestling Federation. It's now just entertainment. Okay, so lately, in the last like 3 months or so, I've randomly seen a bunch of wrestlers just popping up all over the place with podcasts. And it's amazing because yet wrestlers from the 90s are now just like trying anything they can because, you know, you can't wrestle without a crowd. So what can they do? They're really good at talking, and they are very good at talking. And they have some great stories. So for instance, in the last 2-3 weeks, The Undertaker was doing the rounds for the first time in his entire career, which was actually a pretty impressive thing. The fact that this guy has kept like mum for 30 years genuinely, to the point that he would say things like...
I mean, all four of them have, right? They're like four Undertakers,
four
right?
Undertaker?
Weren't they like 4 different people who played The Undertaker?
I thought there was a
One
phase
of them
where
was
he
on
wear
Hot
the
Ones.
hat. Then there was a era where he took off the hat.
Yeah, it's the same dude. That's the point.
Okay.
The
I thought
point is,
okay.
he's one of the few people. He's one of the few people that have had investment in the character to the point in which where he would just not go out in public, and when he would go out in public, he just wouldn't say shit to fans.
The long game.
And so now finally, like, because WrestleMania was just happened or just about to happen, I don't know. Yeah, exactly. He finally broke his silence. And the greatest thing I've seen in a long ass time, I can tell you for a fact.
I just have one question.
One of the greatest things. No. The greatest thing I've seen for a fact is Stone Cold Steve Austin hosting a podcast. His guest is The Undertaker. Why is The Undertaker there? No, not to pimp out WrestleMania, but to sell his brand new bottle of Cabernet Sauvignon Undertaker wine.
Love it.
I just want to ask, is Paul Bearer there? Remember
No,
Paul?
but he tells you all about Paul Bearer and him growing out in the back of a car and being like, man, we got this.
I didn't understand that
Back
his
in the
name
80s
was a
and just-
pun for so long. When I was a kid, I was like, oh yeah, Paul. That's Paul. Oh my God.
It's
Okay,
not a common word.
fair enough. But
Tell me,
Wrestlers on podcasts, they're great.
are you telling me that Stone Cold Steve Austin, or are you telling me The Undertaker's plug-in Squarespace?
Stone Cold must be.
Stone Cold is plugging Squarespace because Stone Cold
Stone Cold
also
has a
his
show,
own
right?
VR.
Remember?
Stone
Yeah,
Cold
he
has
was
a show.
he was on Sean Evans' Hot Ones, and he was pimping that
and
out.
so was
Yeah.
the Undertaker. Undertaker was also on Sean Evans' show, and they both went on each other's show as one does. And Undertaker was on Rogan's show. Stone Cold was on Rogan's show like a
What
year
does
ago as well.
Undertaker sound like? Is he like, hey guys, what's up? Welcome to the wrestling podcast?
Don't forget to like,
Everybody-
share, and subscribe. Yeah.
Every wrestler is from the Deep South. Every single one of them.
Nice.
It's
That's
just
not that surprising. I would
exactly. It
say.
shouldn't-
Not The Rock.
Yeah.
not The Rock.
Yeah, The Rock. But that's why he kind of stands
He's
out
from
as slightly
further
different.
south than the Deep South. to be
He's
fair.
Florida.
John
He's
Cena.
south and to the right.
He's from Hawaii, I thought.
Yeah.
Samoa, but then he's been from Florida. I don't know these things.
Yeah, I mean, like he
doesn't
lived
have
in Hawaii
podcast.
for a long time.
I don't know.
We'll find out on Young Rock when it hits Peacock. So don't worry about that.
That's all I had to say about wrestling.
Great. All right. Ruchi, we know you've been watching Bridgerton and Emily in Paris. So just tell us, did we watch that?
I've seen one episode of each, and I'm sorry, but
Likewise.
neither of them are for me. Yeah, but Emily in Paris is a lot more like maybe because it's shorter. Bridgerton is like 50 something minutes like each episode, and that's way too much for me to invest in that very thin plot. Emily in Paris is like zippy, it's like 20 something minutes, and it's fine. I could have watched it. like,
All I
half
want to know is there a
through.
Phil Collins like Genesis sync moment in the show? That's all I need to know.
So I'll tell you something else about this Phil Collins and Lily Collins connection, other than they're fucking related because they're
Because he,
Collins is.
partly, yeah.
They're
Yeah.
related,
So
yeah.
they
the
are,
only
they are
reason
related, I
know-
hear.
Yeah. So the only reason I know about Phil Collins way more than I should is because my mom is a huge fan.
Oh,
Like
did she
a
watch
massive-
the Karsh Kale tribute which happened on Book My Show? Paytm Insider. Did you
I
not
have
watch
no
that?
idea.
Oh,
I'll
okay,
ask
cool.
her.
Ask Jishnu. He'll be able to help you out.
Right. So she's a huge fan, and she always has been. That's the only reason I know the name Phil Collins. She went out, she bought her Lily Collins's memoir to read. It's called something like...
Wait,
Lily
Lily Collins
Collins
has a
memoir?
memoir?
Because she just wanted to
Yeah.
see the name drops of Phil Collins.
Before
Yeah, of
Emily in
course.
Paris
She
came
was
out,
like, it's her dad. I'm sure she's going to have a lot of stories about her
What's a
father who-
reverse memoir? It's
Wow.
like stories of her
No,
childhood.
so...
it is
Uh,
like it's a collection of personal essays. Like Cassie David did that.
Cool.
Yeah, but have you
It
read
doesn't
any of
have to be,
Kathy
like-
David's essays?
No, I haven't. But I'm
Isn't-
saying that you could be an essay
thing.
and not like it doesn't have to be like a biography about like, well, here are all the things people are interested in. It's nonfiction.
No,
fiction
the
writing,
Lily
isn't it?
Collins one is definitely like it is an autobiography. I don't think it's an essay
Oh.
collection. Yeah. And she went out, she bought that, and she has it still, and she read it cover to cover. I'm sure there's lots of anecdotes in there. She must have enjoyed it. And I told her
Emily
to
in
watch.
Paris. Amazing.
Yeah, and I told her to watch Emily in Paris because I would be like, he's not in it, but the person whose memoir you read so avidly is in it. She was like, oh, it kind of looks like something I would enjoy, and she might watch it. So there you go.
Interesting.
Okay. It
All right.
seems like ambient viewing. Like you'd leave it on and it seems fine.
It is exactly that. That's exactly the
Yeah.
whole thing. And it's a bunch of
Bridgerton, on the other hand, looks like you need to pay attention.
You really
also
don't.
Also no. But yeah.
It is a Shonda Rhimes show, and she invented being a doctor with Grey's Anatomy. So
One of your favorite
she's
shows.
Which is still
history.
on. Do you know that? It's still on.
yeah, I know that, Rishi.
Yeah, and one of my who would have thought? One of my friends is again like a huge fan. She's like, Grey's Anatomy is a rite of passage, and the latest season they're tackling COVID, so you might want to
Well,
check
yeah,
that
they're
out.
doctors, of course they are.
No, I mean, I told you, it's the only show where doctors die, man. That's
No, but you know what's happened in this latest season, though?
No,
COVID
never good.
actually ends up teaching them about their own lives. It's surprising. First time they've done that, but yeah.
Right.
Grey's
But
Anatomy.
is that
Good show.
true? Is that true? If she had like an argument with one of the cast members, she would just like kill them off. Is that how that worked?
It was true multiple times, Richie.
Have you noticed the number of people who leave that show? It's crazy. Anyway, but also it's been on. I mean, between Walking Dead and Supernatural, I think that show is just like, and I guess It's Always Sunny, man. Those 4 shows have just gone on forever, man. It's
Yeah,
crazy.
How many of those
he
shows
left?
have
Actually-
Botox versus Reiki?
He left for some
None of
slightly
them.
I'm
the
sure Grey's
particularly-
Anatomy has covered Reiki.
No,
House must
I'm
have
sure they've
doubt it.
covered Botox.
I feel like House must have done it at some point.
House has a great episode called House versus God. Please watch. Anyway, I wanted to finish off with the recommendation, but I feel like it's gonna pale in comparison.
okay.
But it's the X-Men anime series on Netflix, which is really good. Everyone watch. All right, cool.
X-Men
That's
anime, you say?
yeah, very very good,
Yeah,
very
it's
well
really
made.
Is it new?
It is new, and I mean it's been around for a bit, but really impressive, and it's kind of sticking to the comic book arcs, and really well.
What's about?
It's just it starts off with the end of the Phoenix Saga, so it kind of has a interesting jumping off point. But yeah, definitely
sounds
watch. Yeah, really, really well made and like cool anime, but X-Men, and it's just a good match for both. That's I think where we should call it for tonight, and we will try and see you guys next week. What are we going to talk about next week, guys? We have to think of some stuff.
I don't know. Y'all let us know.
Great. All right. Follow us
Valentine's
on Instagram at Geek Fruit HQ.
Yeah, next
Let's
week,
ask
that's
the
not
people on Instagram what we should talk about.
YouTube. If you just hit subscribe. You can join our Discord, and yeah, we'll thank you guys. Jishnu, Dinkar, Ruchi. Have a great week, and we shall see you all next week with more from the Nerditorium.
You gotta do like a same time, same place.
Yeah, no, I don't know if that's true. That's why Wednesday seems a bit dodged. Okay, all right. See you guys. Bye bye.
Toodaloo.